Dating back thousands of years, some relics were said to be hidden by the gods themselves. These were not small objects, but massive ancient structures that seemed impossible for humans of that time to build. They stood as silent giants, puzzling historians and scientists for centuries. Among these wonders lies one of China's greatest mysteries, a place shrouded in legend and secrecy: the Xixia Imperial tombs. For generations, these structures remained buried, forgotten under layers of history and time. Their presence was so well hidden that no one could say for sure how they were built or why they vanished from records. Rising from the land like lost pyramids, the tombs looked less like human work and more like something gifted by higher powers. Their mystery grew with every unanswered question: who built them? Why were they made in such a grand style? And how could such an enormous creation disappear from memory for so long? Recently, after countless years of silence, this hidden wonder finally revealed its secrets. The discovery of the Xixia Imperial tombs not only solved an ancient mystery, but also reminded the world of China's forgotten dynasties, their power, and their collapse. This was no ordinary ruin. It was a window into the past, a puzzle that tested the limits of what we believe human civilization was capable of thousands of years ago. The Xixia Imperial tombs, hidden for centuries beneath the Helan Mountains. The Xixia Imperial tombs are one of the most mysterious and breathtaking discoveries in China. With sweeping views of the Yellow River and the vast Yinchuan Plain in the Ningxia region, these pyramid-style tombs reveal the lost glory of the Xixia dynasty, which ruled between 1038 and 1227. Spanning nearly 40 square kilometers, the site is enormous, holding 9 imperial tombs, 271 smaller tombs, 32 flood control relics, and the remains of ancient palaces. This is not just a burial site, it is an entire hidden world frozen in time. The scale and preservation of these structures make them the most complete legacy of the Xixia period ever found. Each tomb whispers the story of an empire that once stood strong before its sudden collapse. On July 11, these tombs were officially added to the UNESCO World Heritage List, marking them as treasures of humanity. Their recognition also came as China celebrated 40 years of protecting its heritage under the World Heritage Convention. But beyond their historical and cultural value, the tombs challenge our understanding of ancient engineering. Built mainly from rammed earth, they have survived centuries of erosion and time, still towering like monuments of forgotten gods. Today, they stand not only as a memory of Xixia's power, but also as proof of the incredible mysteries still hidden beneath China's soil. Hidden in the Helan Mountains in northwest China hold a secret that remained hidden for centuries. Beneath their rocky slopes, guarded by desert winds and time itself, lay the Xixia Imperial tombs. From a distance, the mountains seem ordinary, just another natural barrier dividing the Yinchuan Plain from the vast Yellow River basin. But hidden within, history slept in silence. The location is no accident. The tombs were built here to overlook fertile plains and sweeping rivers, a place that once gave life to the Xixia dynasty. The choice of site reveals the ancient rulers' desire for both majesty and protection, using the mountains as natural shields. For generations, farmers and travelers passed nearby without ever knowing they walked close to an ancient kingdom buried beneath their feet. Legends grew of lost treasures and ghostly pyramids, but no clear proof ever surfaced. Now, with modern science and exploration, the tombs have emerged as proof that the Helan Mountains were not only a natural landmark, but also a sacred place of memory. Their slopes hide not just stone and soil, but the story of an empire that rose, ruled, and vanished. What once seemed an empty wilderness has now become one of the most important archaeological sites in China, turning silence into discovery and mystery into truth. Legacy of the Xixia dynasty. The Xixia dynasty, once a proud empire, now lives on through the discovery of its tombs. From 1038 to 1227, the Xixia ruled vast lands in northwest China, blending cultures, traditions, and power. Their empire thrived on trade, knowledge, and military strength, standing as a bridge between China's heartland and the Silk Road. But their legacy almost disappeared after their defeat by the Mongols, leaving behind little more than fragments in forgotten texts. The Imperial tombs, however, tell a different story. Spanning nearly 40 square kilometers, this site proves the scale of their ambition. With 9 massive tombs and hundreds of smaller graves, the Xixia rulers built monuments to their glory that could survive centuries of wind and time. Each structure shows not only their belief in eternity, but also their engineering skills. The tombs were built of rammed earth, shaped into pyramid-like mounds that still stand today, defying erosion and collapse. For centuries, no one knew the true extent of this civilization. Now, the tombs reveal their power, their culture, and their downfall, reminding the world that the Xixia dynasty was not a lost shadow in history, but a true empire that left a lasting mark. Their legacy is carved not in books, but in the earth itself. UNESCO World Heritage status. On July 11, the Xixia Imperial tombs reached a new chapter in their long-hidden story. At the 47th session of the World Heritage Committee in Paris, they were officially added to the UNESCO World Heritage list, becoming China's 60th site of global importance. This recognition was not just an honor for China, but a moment that gave the forgotten Xixia dynasty a place in the world's memory. The timing was symbolic. China was also marking 40 years since joining the World Heritage Convention, proving its strong role in protecting cultural treasures. By earning this status, the tombs gained more than international attention. They gained protection, resources, and a promise to preserve them for generations. UNESCO described the site as one of the most complete and best preserved legacies of the Xixia period, a rare window into a dynasty once lost to history. Standing on the plains of Ningxia, the tombs now hold a new identity, no longer silent ruins but world heritage. With their addition, the global community has acknowledged their importance not only to Chinese culture, but to human history. It is a reminder that no matter how long mysteries remain buried, the world will eventually recognize their true value. High-tech preservation efforts preserving the Xixia Imperial tombs is no easy task. Built mainly from rammed earth, these massive pyramids face constant threats from cracking, erosion, and the harsh desert climate of Ningxia. To protect them, scientists and preservation teams have turned to advanced technology. Since 2017, they have been testing new methods to stabilize the soil, control surface wear, and slow down the natural decay caused by time and weather. In 2023, the Ningxia government launched a large-scale project to study the tombs using the latest tools. Aerial and ground magnetic surveys, electromagnetic scans, and even cosmic ray muon imaging now allow researchers to explore the structures without disturbing them. These techniques reveal hidden layouts and chambers that remained invisible for centuries. To ensure safety, a monitoring system tracks 99 different indicators, giving early warnings of potential damage. Every crack, every shift in the soil is recorded and studied in real time. This combination of science and tradition has turned the Xixia tombs into one of the most advanced heritage protection projects in the world. Thanks to these efforts, the tombs will not only survive the desert winds, but will also remain open to study, discovery, and wonder for generations to come. Banpo Neolithic village life, just east of modern Xi'an, a construction crew in 1953 made an unexpected discovery. A Neolithic village frozen in time. This place, known as Banpo, dates back between 4500 and 3700 BCE and was home to about 500 people. Surrounded by a wide moat nearly 3 meters across, the settlement covered 50,000 square meters, making it one of the earliest planned communities in China. The houses were simple timber longhouses, raised above the ground to protect against damp winters, with central hearths that warmed families and brought them together. Excavations revealed not only homes but also pottery kilns, storage pits, and communal burial grounds. One grave, showing a mother cradling her child in a final embrace, stunned archaeologists and gave a deeply human touch to the site. Banpo's kilns produced distinctive red pottery that spread widely across the Yellow River Basin, turning the village into an ancient hub of craft and trade. Even tools found there were polished stone, imported from far away, proof of early barter networks long before writing or wheels. Walking through the reconstructed pathways today, Banpo feels like the first heartbeat of Chinese urban life, where defense, craft, and community began to shape a civilization. The Enigma of Longyou Caves in 1992. Divers pumped water from what they thought was a simple, flooded quarry in Xixia. What they uncovered shocked the world. 24 massive underground chambers carved directly into solid sandstone. Each cavern soars up to 30 meters high, with walls covered in precise, parallel grooves cut at a perfect 60-degree angle as if done by machines. Yet, the caves are over 2,000 years old, built in a time with no steel drills, no electricity, and no advanced pumps to keep water out. Even stranger, no soot marks or signs of habitation were found, leaving no clue about who built them or why. Engineers estimate that carving just one cavern would take years of non-stop labor with modern diamond tools. Yet here were 24, all interconnected by narrow tunnels. In total, more than 600,000 cubic meters of stone would have been removed, yet not a single trace of the missing rock has ever been found. This unsolved riddle makes the Longyou Caves one of the greatest mysteries in China. Were they temples, or something else entirely? Until new evidence surfaces, they remain a silent monument to knowledge and skill far beyond what history says was possible. Yangshan Quarry's giant stele, high on a misty hillside in Jiangsu, the Yangshan Quarry hides one of the greatest unfinished monuments in human history. In 1405, during the Ming Dynasty, workers began carving a massive stele for the Yongle Emperor directly from the mountain rock. They shaped 3 enormous pieces: the base, the body, and the head. But soon they realized the impossible. The base alone weighed around 250 tons, as heavy as a modern battleship. Moving it down the steep slope without destroying roads or equipment was beyond their ability. Combined, the 3 pieces would have weighed over 30,000 tons, far more than even today's cranes could lift. Faced with this challenge, the workers abandoned the project, leaving the massive blocks behind. Even now, sharp chisel marks are visible, frozen in time as if the workers had just stopped for the day. Walking through the quarry feels like stepping into a moment when ambition outran technology. Modern engineers admit the task would still be a nightmare today. The Yangshan stele remains a monument not to success, but to the daring vision of ancient China, proof that they dreamed far beyond their limits, carving stone with the hope of leaving behind something eternal. Shimao, city of sacrifice. Long before the Great Wall rose, a massive fortress city stood on the Shaanxi Plateau. This prehistoric site, known as Shimao, dates back nearly 4,000 years and covers over 400 hectares. At its heart rises a step pyramid 230 feet tall, built from limestone blocks that lock together with uncanny precision. The walls stretch for nearly 6 kilometers, broken only by intricate gates and bastions, showing that Shimao was not just a city. It was a fortress of power. Inside, archaeologists uncovered jade inlays, snake-like carvings, and treasures that hint at a wealthy ruling class. Yet, alongside this beauty came something darker. Excavations revealed pits filled with decapitated human heads, carefully arranged as sacrifices to forgotten gods or rulers. These chilling finds suggest that Shimao was a city where both prosperity and fear ruled side by side. Despite having no metal tools, its stonework fits so tightly that it resists earthquakes even today. Satellite images show more terraces still buried, hinting that what we see is only part of a far greater complex. Shimao's ruins force historians to reconsider. Perhaps China's early kingdoms were more advanced and more brutal than records ever admitted. Huashan's hidden grottoes, high above the Xi'an River in Anhui, Dark openings dot the granite cliffs of Huashan like gateways to another world. For centuries, locals believed they were abandoned mines until explorers entered and uncovered something extraordinary. 36 vast man-made caverns. The largest stretches 170 meters long, with ceilings over 20 meters high, supported by thick stone columns deliberately left uncut. The walls are covered with spiral tool marks carved in perfect rows, suggesting careful planning and advanced techniques. Yet, there is no suit, no carvings, no inscriptions, and no trace of who built them. Some believe mirrors or water lamps were used to light the work, since the ceilings remain spotless. Archaeologists date the grottos to at least 500 years ago, but many suspect they are older. What puzzles researchers most is the missing debris. Over 200,000 cubic meters of stone should have been removed, yet no spoil piles have ever been found. Even modern engineers admit that blasting today would likely shatter the delicate pillars left behind. The Huashan grottos remain a mystery of precision and purpose, raising a haunting question. How could an ancient culture achieve something that even now feels nearly impossible? Liangzhu's water mastery. Hidden beneath the rice paddies of Xixia, the ancient city of Liangzhu remained forgotten until high-resolution scans in 2018 revealed its ghostly outline. Dating back to around 3300 BCE, this sprawling city covered 34 square kilometers and displayed a level of engineering far ahead of its time. Its most impressive achievement was not walls or palaces, but water control. More than 30 dams, canals, and reservoirs laced the valley together, taming floods and directing water with a precision that rivals modern hydrology. Core samples proved these were not natural formations. Sediment layers trapped behind embankments showed deliberate, large-scale design. At the city's heart rose Mogia Shan Palace, built on a vast platform the size of 9 football fields, where jade ritual objects were arranged like coded symbols of power. But then around 2300 BCE, pollen records show a sudden drop. The people of Liangzhu vanished, leaving only silent dams and structures that still influence water flow today. Modern engineers admit it would take years and immense resources to recreate what Liangzhu achieved thousands of years ago. This city's water mastery forces history to acknowledge that advanced science existed in China long before written records. Niuheliang and the Goddess Temple, perched high above the Liao River, the Niuheliang complex is one of China's most mysterious prehistoric sites, dating back over 400–500 years. At first glance, its centerpiece looks like a natural hill, but excavations revealed a man-made pyramid built from stacked stone and covered with crimson clay that once glowed brightly in the sun. Beside it stood the famed Goddess Temple, where archaeologists found a life-sized clay face with painted eyes, perfectly aligned with the midsummer sunrise. Across the ridge, 14 round tomb platforms were uncovered, filled with jade pigs, dragons, and rings, objects older than China's earliest writing. The builders quarried sandstone from cliffs nearly 20 kilometers away, hauling massive blocks uphill without mortar, yet fitting them with precision. What startled researchers even more were the alignments. The terraces matched solstice sunrises, forming an ancient astronomical calendar. No ancient texts mention this culture, yet DNA from the buried elite links them to modern northern Chinese people, suggesting they may be the forgotten ancestors of China's statehood. Moving that much stone would have required massive labor forces, rivaling Egyptian projects of the same era. Niuheliang's ruins remain a haunting memory of a civilization both powerful and lost to history. The Silk Road stone mounds on a windswept terrace above the Trim River, more than 200 stone mounds stand like frozen campfires, marking a forgotten necropolis along the ancient Silk Road. Built between the Warring States and Han periods, these burial mounds blend nomadic steppe traditions with early Chinese customs. Each mound is formed from fist-sized stones stacked in circles and topped with a square platform, creating a unique style found nowhere else. Excavations uncovered felt hats, Indo-Persian beads and Chinese bronze mirrors, showing the meeting of cultures at this trade crossroads. The arid climate preserved rare details, from strands of human hair to leather goods, though paper scrolls have long decayed. Inside, archaeologists found collapsed wooden chambers once filled with goods, but looted long ago. One extraordinary discovery was a painted wooden mask, decorated with swirling red lines unlike anything else in Asia, hinting at mysterious clan ties across vast deserts. Even today, most of the mounds remain untouched, guarded against looters. With stones rattling in the wind, they stand as silent reminders of a time when merchants, chiefs, and nomads mingled along the Silk Road, leaving behind a burial ground that still whispers of untold journeys. Taosi ancient observatory. Long before written calendars, the people of Taosi built an observatory that rivaled Stonehenge in precision. Dating back to around 2100 BCE, this site in Shaanxi province used 13 packed earth columns arranged in a semicircle overlooking the Fen River plain. The gaps between the pillars align perfectly with the sun's path throughout the year, allowing ancient priests to track solstices and equinoxes with a margin of error of just 2 days. Modern archaeologists confirmed its function by standing at the site during the solstice, watching sunlight pour through the gaps exactly as it did over 4,000 years ago. This early mastery of astronomy shaped farming, taxation, and ritual life, ensuring that communities could plan with precision. Nearby discoveries, jade knives, drums, and eerie skull drums made from human heads, hint at ceremonies where science and fear blended together. What amazed researchers most was the structure's accuracy. 3D scans showed the radius of the platform varied by less than 3 centimeters, an incredible feat using only baskets of rammed clay. The Taosi Observatory proves that formal science in China began much earlier than once believed, rising not from theory, but from the rhythms of ritual and survival. Qin Shi Huang's deadly tome. The world knows the terracotta army, but few realize the true scale of the tomb it guards. Beneath a massive 76-meter-high mound lies the underground city of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Ground surveys reveal walls, towers, and courtyards stretching over 5.6 kilometers, larger than the entire Vatican. Ancient texts describe rivers of liquid mercury flowing through the burial chamber, a detail confirmed by modern tests showing mercury levels 50 times higher than normal. No one dares to drill. Opening the chamber could release deadly vapors or collapse fragile frescoes preserved in airtight darkness for over 2,000 years. The terracotta army itself only guards the outer barracks. The true burial chamber lies deeper, untouched. Radar scans show vaulted roofs supported by timber beams, long since decayed yet miraculously held in place by packed soil. Legend speaks of hidden traps designed to kill intruders, making the tomb one of the most dangerous archaeological sites in the world. For now, it remains sealed, a lethal time capsule where technology, science, and fear intersect. Qin Shi Huang dreamed of eternal rule, and his tomb has succeeded, keeping its secrets locked in silence. Xi'an's mystery pyramids. Across the farmlands near Xi'an, dozens of ancient pyramids rise from the soil, their once sharp edges now softened by time and covered with wheat fields. From above, they form a precise grid, each aligned with the 4 cardinal points, revealing careful planning by ancient engineers. Historical records and satellite images confirm at least 38 royal tombs dating from the Qin to Tang dynasties, some towering more than 70 meters high. The largest, Maling, once shone under a coating of white plaster, acting as a beacon for travelers along the Silk Road. Studies of their layouts reveal astronomical alignments, with some pyramids positioned to match lunar standstill points, proving that they were not only tombs but also markers of celestial knowledge. Yet, many of these pyramids remain unexcavated, some even located within restricted military zones, feeding rumors of lost scrolls and advanced devices hidden inside. Core samples show that their builders used layered rammed earth and clay sheets for waterproofing, a technique still effective today. Despite modern interest, strict laws forbid excavation, leaving researchers to study only from afar. For now, the Xi'an pyramids stand as silent giants, guarding secrets that may never be unearthed. The Huifa River Dolmens, deep in the mossy forests of Gaoling, along the Huifa River, stand over 80 megalithic tombs known as the Huifa River Dolmens. Built around the 5th century BCE, these massive stone monuments follow a striking design. Two upright stones supporting a giant capstone, some as large as city buses. Unlike Korean dolmens, which are similar in shape, the Huifa dolmens are aligned north-south, hinting at a unique local belief system now lost to time. Inside, archaeologists found bronze knives buried alongside deer antlers, showing a fusion of nomadic hunting traditions with early farming culture. The stones were quarried across the river and dragged over ice in winter, then raised upright using timber tripods, a feat that required tremendous skill and teamwork. Legends tell that the dolmens serve as gateways to the sky, and even today, locals leave offerings of millet at their base during solstice ceremonies. What puzzles researchers most is the scale. How a community without advanced tools could move and position such massive stones with precision. The Huifa River Dolmens remain one of the northern frontiers of China's megalithic tradition, standing as silent guardians of a culture that left no written record, but spoke through stone. Desert stone circles of Turpan across the scorching deserts near Turpan. Strange stone circles stretch across the barren land, patterns only visible from the sky. Pilots were the first to report them, perfect rings, K-holes, and serpentine lines etched into the desert floor. On the ground, they appear as low rims of fist-sized stones, some circles over 150 meters wide. Archaeologists have mapped more than 200 of these shapes, dating back as far as 400 or 500 years. At their centers, magnetic scans revealed fire pits filled with ash, suggesting they were once used for open sky rituals or funerary rites. Burial goods, including bronze arrowheads, bone tools, and glass beads, connect them to early Silk Road trade. Yet, their true purpose remains unknown. Without pack animals, moving such heavy stones across shifting sands would have exhausted any small community, raising questions of how they were built. Some scholars believe they were ceremonial gathering sites, where scattered tribes came together for rituals before vanishing back into the steppe. Others think they were desert markers guiding travelers. Still, many more remain buried under dunes, visible only through satellite imagery. Until full excavations are done, the Turpan stone circles remain messages in stone,